live button. So I have a couple surprises for tonight, a few things I want to talk about, and also wanted to see about maybe doing a giveaway specifically during the live stream tonight. We can talk about that later as well. If you're watching this after the fact, then, I mean, that doesn't apply to you. But, yeah, welcome and happy Thursday night. Again, not on Wednesday night. Ended up taking the kids to go to see the Rockets last night, who finally won. So I'm really excited about that. And also, for those of you in the chat, if you could please tell me how the volume is tonight. I didn't realize the volume was pretty low last week. So if the volume is too high, if it's too low or whatever, y'all let me know so I can adjust this a little bit. But yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time out of your schedule for y'all to be here this evening on a Thursday night instead of a Wednesday night. Yeah, I was excited about the basketball game. I'm a big basketball fan. I mean, I'm mostly a sports fan. My kids are into everything. Boxing, UFC, soccer, football, baseball. I mean, I don't have enough money on the planet to try and take these kids to all of the games that they want to go to. Let me turn the volume up a little bit more. All right. I turned the volume up just a hair. So y'all let me know how that is. I just don't want it peaking because sometimes, I can talk really loud and it's like, it's really close to peaking right now. So, yeah, just let me know. Watched the game last night. Great series. Yeah, so the Texas Rangers now can say that they have won a World Series. I think they were one of the last 3 or 4 teams that had never won a World Series. Of course, the Houston Astros were one of those for a very, very long time as well. It's funny because the Rangers hadn't won one. We hadn't won one. We finally won in 2017, then we won last year. Just wasn't in the cards for us this year. But that's fine. I think it's neat whenever a team can win the World Series for the first time. At least they can say, all right, we finally got one. And there's so many teams, It's tough to get all the way there. And tell you what, they were a pretty talented team. So, yes. Nexus S. What up from Madison, Wisconsin, a.k.a. Madtown? I've never heard of Madtown before, but that's pretty interesting. Madtown, kind of like Madison Avenue, Mad Men from the TV series used to have on AMC. So hopefully y'all are having a fantastic week so far. Anyway, basketball was fun last night. A lot of exciting stuff this week. I did something I said that I wasn't going to do, and I've had a couple people asking me about it. So I went today and I picked up. This is the S23 FE, which, let me see. This light is just killing it. There we go. I have a mint-colored S23 FE, which I was mad because they didn't have the purple one. That's the only thing about the S23 FE that I like is that purple-colored phone that they have. And of course, I could not get one. They had one, but it was like 19 miles away, and I just decided to get this, 2 hours ago. So I thought I would talk about it tonight, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so, yeah, my moral of the story is don't buy the S23 FE. And I pretty much went out and spent $600 and bought this phone. So I could tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, don't buy it. it's not a phone I think people should go out and buy. Hey, Drew Lips, thanks for stopping by tonight. Hope you're having an excellent Thursday. I hope that you are as well. Plasma Axis, you're an Astros fan. I don't mind them except for the whole cheating scandal. So me too. I am an Astros fan, except for I was not happy about the cheating scandal because I've been an Astros fan since I was a kid. I've lived in Houston my entire life. I'm 39 years old. It took us like 50 years before we won a World Series. So to go through all of that and to be really excited and emotionally invested in this team, and then they win the World Series, and then to find out that they cheated afterward. Yeah, I was really pissed off about that. It really made me mad. So I was happy that we won the second one, sans the cheating, in 2022, that I think most people will consider legitimate. But yeah, I've been an Astros fan my whole life. Neutral 69, do you know when the S24 is coming out? So it should be announced officially probably the first week of February. The S23 was announced the first week of February this year. So that's probably about the time frame. Probably last week of January, first 2 weeks of February is what I can expect. Fardad Manning, do I like the Texans? I like them when they win. So I've been a Texans fan. It took me a long time to really actually care about them, and then they suck so bad that it really makes it hard to care about them. I grew up an Oilers fan, so I was very, very I was very sad when the Oilers left. I think it was in '98, and then we got the Texans. And the Texans are okay. I mean, there were periods of time where I really liked them as a team. I enjoyed. I went to games every season, but ever since like COVID and all that, I haven't been to a football game. So Nexus S, the S23 is pretty much an S21 FE remix. So the S21 FE has the Snapdragon 888 in it. I think the 888 is a better chipset than the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 was not a good chip because it had serious issues with power management, with the battery life, with the heating, with throttling. The S21 FE, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 was actually the reason last year that Samsung got caught and got the S22 delisted from benchmark testing from the Geekbench guys, because they were using the game optimization service to throttle basically everything on the phone, and they had been for like 3 years. So yeah, I was not happy when I saw that they have the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 in here. And if you get it internationally, I think it's the Exynos 2200, which honestly I don't know if it's better or worse whenever it comes to it. Yeah, Gonzalo, if you could call it the S22 FE. I don't understand why this phone exists. They made it, it's got a 2-year-old chip in it. It's basically got 2+-year-old cameras in it. There's nothing really all that revolutionary about the phone or the hardware. I mean, just go buy an S21 FE. You could probably get on eBay for like $279 now and just use that sucker for like 2 years. Or get a Pixel 7 for like $400. There's a lot of, or actually get a Pixel 8. I would all day long get a Pixel 8 over this phone. So I don't know why they made this. If they put the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1 in it, I would feel a lot better because they made a lot of fundamental fixes there. But the S22, probably the worst Samsung phone I've ever used. It was pretty and it had decent performance as far as power and the cameras were okay. I would only get like 3 hours of battery life. I couldn't even get 4 hours of screen on time with that sucker, and it would be dead. It would get hot. It would throttle a lot. It was not good. So to see a reappearance of that this year, calling it the Fan Edition FE, I need to come up with something else to call it other than the Fan Edition. Maybe like the Fake Edition, I don't know, something. Y'all come up with something in the comments. We need something to call it. And yeah, it just feels kind of cheap, honestly. It just feels flat and cheap. It feels like it's a little too on the thick side. I'm not impressed with it, but I put my money where my mouth is, so I can tell you people based off of personal experience, don't go buy it. Matt, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Why would you upgrade from the S22 Plus to the S24 Ultra? Why? Thanks. Absolutely, I would, because it has the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 in it. It doesn't have good battery life. It only has a 1080p screen. It doesn't have an LTPO. It doesn't throttle down under like 50 or 60 hertz or whatever in the world it is. I think it's like 44 hertz is what it goes down to. Not overly impressed with the cameras that are in there. It has slow charging. Doesn't even have a 5,000 milliamp battery in it. There's just a lot of reasons. I told people don't buy the S22 Plus. I told people don't buy the S22. I made copious amount of videos about it. So I would say, yes, I absolutely would upgrade from the S22 Plus to the S24 Ultra. Bigger screen, bigger battery, better cameras, S Pen. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. The S24 Ultra is going to be a good phone. Raiders for life. Hey, I always appreciated the Raiders growing up. And I like John Madden. Let me see. Katina Sutherland, oh my gosh, how much have I missed? You haven't missed a whole lot. I just kind of went straight into the ranting in this video. So let me try and get caught up here. Lots and lots and lots. Oh, Fail Edition. I think that's what I called it before. Because I did the same thing with the Tab S7 FE, and I was really mad about the Tab S7 FE because they had two different chips in it, but they didn't disclose that they had two different chips. So if you got the Wi-Fi model, it was a Snapdragon 778, but if you got the 5G model, it was the Snapdragon 750. So there was two different chips. They didn't disclose that, and then the pricing was like terrible. It was not good. And then the screen was not all that great. There was a lot of reasons I did not like the... It was the FU edition. That's what I called it. The Tab S7 FU edition. So this will probably be the S23 FU edition. We'll see. And then I'll continue on the long history of Samsung not ever sending me anything. But Yeah. Thoughts on Dallas Cowboys as a Houston fan? So I don't like the Cowboys. I hated them in the 90s because they were always winning. I always liked Troy Aikman, though. I like Troy Aikman. He was probably one of my favorite quarterbacks growing up. I was a big Jay Novacek fan. Loved Big Moose. I even liked Jason Witten as a tight end later on once he got on the team. Tony Romo, I was actually a big fan of his. But yeah, not really a big fan of the owner, not a big fan of the organization. And then they had all the problems with the players and the cocaine and all the like stuff they got arrested for in the 90s. I just didn't really like the culture of the team. But anyway, yeah, I don't really think they're America's team. And I think that they're just, I don't know, a bunch of noisy fans. But if you're like a true legitimate Dallas fan, you've been one for a long time, I understand. I'm in Houston. I'm a by de facto Texans fan. Drew Lips, the S23 Ultra is really solid. My wife actually just got one for a great deal to try out. We'll trade it in for the S24. Yeah, the S23 Ultra is fantastic. I've said this time and time and again. I think it's the best normal flagship phone that Samsung has ever made. It's so good. Mine's here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah, fantastic phone. It feels nice, great, premium. I like the cameras on it. Very versatile. S Pen, DeX, all-day battery, beautiful, great design. I mean, I could go on and on. It's a really good phone. Dalla Griffey, Eagles for the win. Hey, I used to really like Donovan McNabb. Like I was a big Donovan McNabb fan. So I used to be really into football. I ran a fantasy football league for like 9 years. I was like lived, ate and breathed football from probably 2007 to like 2018, 2019. Plasma Access. Have I heard of the Poco X3 Pro having motherboard issues? I haven't. I don't know of that being a systemic issue, but I mean, any phone, any computer is subject to electronic components failing at some point in time. So, I mean, if the motherboard has failed on one or two of them, it doesn't surprise me. But I have not heard of that being a systemic issue, and I do generally like the Poco phones. Senior Bell 67, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much for that, sir. I greatly appreciate it. How does the iPhone 15 Pro Max battery last now versus the 14 Pro Max? So my 14 Pro Max, I got rid of it. I traded it in when I got the 15 Pro Max. Well, when I finally decided I was going to keep it at the end of the 2 weeks. My 14 Pro Max, I would routinely get about 6.5 hours of screen on time. And I'm getting like 8 to 9 with my 15 Pro Max. So I think the 15 Pro Max battery life is significantly better than the 14 Pro Max. So much so that I was happy to get rid of it. Ryan Daly, will you think the iPhone 16 Pro will get a bigger battery? Honestly, I don't think so, but I don't think it's so much a battery issue. It's really weird because if you take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro, it had such great battery life. And then we moved to the 14 Pro, terrible battery life, 15 Pro. So I think a lot of it really has to do with software and iOS. Like iOS 16 was terrible. I complained all year about iOS 16, and iOS 16 even messed up the battery life on my iPhone 13 Pro to a certain extent. So I hope that they'll get things ironed out and battery life will get better. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think that we're going to see a bigger battery in the 15 Pro Max. So maybe we might see some newer battery technology over the next year or two, and that would be nice. I think that that's probably where we're headed as opposed to actual larger batteries, right? Mr. Manning, will you review Xiaomi phones? So here's the thing. Xiaomi, I reviewed Xiaomi phones for years. And then I got really tired of the way that they were treating me because they kept they would email me. They'd be like, hey, our new flagship Xiaomi 12 Ultra is coming out. Do you want to review it? Or they'd tell me the new Xiaomi 13 is coming out. Do you want to review our new flagship phone? And I said, yes. And then lo and behold, it would show up in the mail and it wasn't the 13 Ultra. It wasn't the 12 Ultra. It wasn't the 12 Pro. It was like the 12 Lite or the 13 Lite. Or they would ask me if I wanted to review the flagship model, and then they would send me the Lite model. And then I would be like, hey, can you send me the flagship model like you said? And then they would be like, oh, we're out of units. So they did that to me 3 or 4 times. And then I said, you know what? I just don't want to work with y'all anymore. If you're not going to send me the phone you tell me you're going to send me that I agree to, then I'm not going to review whatever you send me. So we kind of got into a stalemate. I have talked to them recently, though, and I was like, look, I really would like to try and move beyond this and repair this relationship because I value your phones. I think y'all make good stuff. We've had a good working relationship in the past. So I did ask them about the 14 series, and I hope they're going to send me the 14 Pro, but they're not going to send any until it's globally launched. It's only been launched in China right now. So when they launch it globally in a few months, we'll see. And if they send me the Pro like they're supposed to, then yeah, I guess we'll be back on again. But that's kind of my relationship with them. Mr. Bell 67 $1.99 super chat. Thank you again. So the S23 Ultra, does 8 or 12 gigs of RAM make a difference? Honestly, not so much. I am like probably the top of the top when it comes to using these phones, and it doesn't matter to me whether there's 8 or 12. It just irritates me that they lower it, so they try and artificially prop up the higher model to get you to spend the money on it. I'm more interested in the larger storage than I am the extra 4 gigabytes of RAM. And the RAM management is so good on Android nowadays. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. If you want to get the 256 with the 8, totally go for it. I don't think you're going to have any issues. Leo, my 15 Pro has a decent battery, no issues here. However, I guess it depends on tasks. Yeah, it really depends on how you use it. And the biggest thing is screen on time. And I was getting like 5 hours, I think is what I was getting. I was not getting good battery life with it. I mean, it wouldn't make it through the day. I was having to charge it at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a normal day. So I got the Pro Max, and it's been fantastic for me. I'm sure the Pro is probably fine for most normal folks. If you use the screen on your phone for less than 5 to 6 hours during your waking hours till you get home and you can charge it, it's probably going to work fine. Jerome Gold, have you seen the patents that were filed on the Z Fold 6 built-in S Pen? I have not. I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff because supposedly the Z Fold 4 was going to have a built-in S Pen and a bigger screen, and you could use the S Pen on the front screen, and none of those three things happen. So I don't really pay attention to that stuff, especially we're so far out, right? We know there was a prototype that was designed that looked that way, so it could just be a prototype design they made before, but also that phone's not going to come out until August of next year, and it is the first week of November. So seeing as the Z Fold 5 is 3 months old, not even yet, I'm not worried about the Z Fold 6. Nexus S. Flossie Carter says the S23 FE is a Pixel 8 killer, something along those lines. I don't think it is at all. The only reason that this phone is palatable is because it's $599. And here's the thing. I say this, and I've said this in a lot of my videos, benchmarks don't matter. And if you take a look at the Pixel 8 and the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, the benchmarks are about the same. But when you look deeper beneath that, and you also know the history of the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 and the horrible heat issues, the terrible battery life, the bad throttling, and all that stuff that happened with it last year, and I tested the S22, I tested the S22 Plus, I tested the S22 Ultra, I extensively tested that chipset. I even tested it with the OnePlus 10 last year. It was terrible. Horrible battery life, and it was powerful. It was a very powerful chipset, but they just couldn't manage it. I mean, maybe it's a little bit better now, but I can't on good conscience recommend anyone go buy it, knowing the history and the extensive amount of issues that it had and the testing that I did with it. And yeah, I mean, it's good that it's at $599, but it's still a 2-year-old chip that had problems 2 years ago. So I don't think that it's a Pixel 8 killer. The Pixel 8 is definitely going to have better photography, probably better video at this point, plus the fact that it's supported for 7 years, which, I mean, if you think you're going to hold on to it 7 years, I know I always go back and forth with folks on that. AI and the machine learning stuff that's going on, you're going to get better battery life with the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro. The screen is better. The build quality seems better. There's like, I don't know how somebody could say that the S23 FE could be a Pixel 8 killer. I could not sign off on that at all. Like, no thanks. Jay, hey Adam, are you going to make the live streams on Thursdays for an hour instead of Wednesdays? No, that's not the plan. I couldn't do it 2 weeks ago because my mom had been in the ICU all week, so I couldn't do it Wednesday 2 weeks ago. I was at the hospital visiting my mom. I was there for several hours. I got home late. Like, there was just no way I was going to be able to do a live stream that day. So I pushed it to Thursday. And then I bought tickets to go to watch the Rockets game, and I didn't realize it was for a Wednesday. So I took my kids to go do that last night. So between those two reasons, we didn't do it the last 2 Wednesdays. The plan is, though, for it to be on Wednesday. So Wednesday. Next week, we should be Wednesday. Leo, yeah, I use always on display. Use it a lot during the day. cold climate in the UK, so maybe the outside temperature. I don't know. I mean, I was using it at home predominantly on Wi-Fi, and I was just having issues. And I keep it 67 degrees in my house, 66 pretty much year-round. It didn't spend a lot of time outside in the heat. Stephanie Lauren, I had to get a new Pixel 8 Pro through warranty notifications were buggy, and with that, I hope everything is better on the new one, or it's Android 14 for sure. So here's the thing, and I want to talk about the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro with Android 14. I've had a few people say that the experience has been a little on the buggy side, but we have to have a conversation about this. Is Android 14 buggy, or are the apps not optimized yet, and are those causing it to be buggy? I've used my Pixel 8 Pro extensively, even the Pixel 8, and it feels pretty smooth to me. But there's like a billion apps out there, so it may just be that apps that you're using might not be optimized yet. Maybe that's why it's not having as smooth of an experience. And I think we're going to experience that now because One UI 6 and Android 14 has finally started rolling out to the S23 series phones, I believe. So we'll probably experience it there too. Once you have a new operating system come out, it really takes probably about 2 months for everything to get streamlined. The app developers finally get their updated apps updated, iron out any kinks that might be going on. I've had a really good experience with Android 14 so far, but if you haven't, I mean, there may be different reasons why that's happening that may not necessarily be Android 14 or the Pixel itself. Jerome Gold, I'm getting 9 hours of screen on time on my S23 Ultra. I was too, and that's fantastic. Let me see. CA, should I buy a 15 Pro Max or a Pixel 8 Pro? I love both Pixel and iPhone. That's difficult because you're looking at two completely different platforms. Like if you want to go S23 Ultra and Pixel 8 Pro, it's a little easier to have that discussion. But if you're looking at an iPhone and you're looking at a Pixel phone, it really boils down to like which operating system you want, which ecosphere that you want, and all that. Like, do you want an Apple Watch? Do you want a Pixel Watch? Do you want an iPad? Do you want a Google Pixel tablet? You know, it just really boils down to probably what you're more familiar with, and they both, I think, are excellent products. So, Hipfire, any impressions on One UI animations? So, I have not used One UI 6 yet, and I know that there's been people complaining about the animations. I've seen some stuff about it. And that's probably an Android 14 thing layered on top of that with the customization of the UI with One UI. So I think it's going to iron itself out if you're concerned about the animations. Everybody just likes to complain about everything. Gonzalo, S23 looks, FE looks so bulky, how it feels. So the weight is okay. It does feel bulky though. I don't like the way this phone feels. It does feel unduly heavy. And it does feel bulky. I mean, I would rather carry around my 15 Pro Max or my S23 Ultra than this phone. Like I'm not digging it. I really, really am not. I don't. There's a lot of questionable decisions they made with making this phone. Daniel, the Big D. I've heard the S23 FE had no overheating issues because of an improved vapor chamber. And they may have. I have not looked to see if they've included a vapor chamber in there. I do know that while I was setting it up, it did get quite warm for quite a while until I stopped using it. So I don't know that heating issues have been fixed. But the biggest issue wasn't so much that the phone was overheating. It's just that the battery life was just absolutely terrible. Like it was terrible, terrible. Big differences with the S21 FE and the design. Let me see. Stephanie Lauren. Also, I was getting better notifications on my Pixel 6 Pro and then nothing on the Pixel 8 Pro. With that, TikTok came in so much better. I had to reinstall it. Yeah, I haven't run any notification issues, but I don't have a lot of notifications turned on. Like I try to keep my notifications to a minimum on my phone because I get tired of everything just popping up and blowing up my phone all the time. So if you heavily use notifications, then maybe that's a difference that you've noticed that I haven't, but I haven't had problems with it. Am I going to return the S23 FE? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just went and I bought it, and I'm like, you know what? I've had a lot of people asking about this, so I'm going to go ahead and make a video about it, and we'll go from there. But as the sole reason I bought this phone was so I can tell people not to buy it, because I would like to see you use your money somewhere else with a probably better, more reliable product that's probably going to give you a more enjoyable time with the phone. I don't think the cameras are anything new. I think it's still the same camera from 2 years ago. I just don't know why they made this. It's just all old crap. and a chip that I don't like. Probably the worst chip that I've experienced in a decade. Any modem issues on my Pixel 8 Pro from Michael Harden? Thank you for the super chat. No, I haven't. And I've actually had a really good experience with the modem on the Pixel 8 and on the Pixel 8 Pro. I've had a SIM card in the Pixel 8 Pro for several weeks now since I got it. I need to go ahead and wrap up my full review. I've been so busy talking about everything else. But yeah, I've not had any issues whenever it comes to the modem, the connection, the signal, any of that stuff. Mr. Murdy, 15 Pro Max is so much portable compared to the previous. Titanium is nice compromise, maybe not for... Yeah, I don't know that the titanium really made much of a difference. So much so as the actual redesign and making it thinner, making it more ergonomic, the rounded edges. Like, there's a lot of stuff I like about the 15 Pro and the Pro Max. And it's not necessarily related to titanium. Brian Lau, the S10 Plus is the best. Headphone jack, micro SD. The S10 Plus was a fantastic phone. I really love the S10 and the S10 Plus. Jay, what is my favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Honestly, I don't think I've ever had Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I'm here in Texas, so everybody buys Bluebell. Texas is a Bluebell state. I always kind of preferred Borden, and they had the mint chocolate chip. That was very good when I was a kid. I don't eat a lot of ice cream. I'm not a big fan, but if I were to go out and choose an ice cream to eat, it would be Rocky Road. Rocky Road is my favorite. Nexus S, S21 FE versus S23 FE. So I don't have the S21 FE anymore. I gave that to a friend of mine. It was funny because it was actually my old boss who's not going to watch my live stream, but we're friends. So I would give her a lot of different phones, and she would just always get like a blue phone or another cheap phone. She was like, I don't see the point in buying an expensive phone. I'll just buy the cheap ones all the time. I'm like, look, you need to get something that's not a cheap phone. Like, get a better, bigger, better phone. So before I quit my job last year, I gave her the S21 FE, which she still has and she's still using, and she absolutely loves it. And she's like, yeah, I can't go back to cheap phones anymore. Brian Lau, S21 FE looking good for a cheap price now. Yeah, the S21 FE is a good phone. I don't really have any heartburn over it. I had heartburn about when it came out because it came out 3 weeks before the S22 series came out, and they wanted too much money. But after that initial kind of stuff went away and they dropped the price and they had sales on it and you could get it for like $400, yeah, the S21 FE I thought was a very good phone. Even today, it'll probably last you at least another year or two. Pixel 7a is for $374. I don't recommend buying the Pixel 7a. I would try to get the Pixel 7. The Pixel 7a really irks me because it pretends like it's a Pixel 7. They charge way too much money for it. And it has a dumbed down camera. It has a dumbed down IP rating, dumbed down glass, dumbed down charging, dumbed down, like, there's a lot of stuff that they really cut a lot of corners on and then charge $500 for. And it really rubbed me the wrong way. I did not like that phone. Especially because it was like $50 off the price of the regular Pixel 7. And the Pixel 7 I thought was a tremendously better phone. So yeah. And you can get a Pixel 7a for $374, but I would look for just the regular Pixel 7. Let me see. Andy 1. Yes, true. I haven't compared my 15 Pro Max with my colleague's 14 Pro Max. Yeah, I like the 15 Pro and Pro Max. It was very good. David Pitts. Am I going to sell the S23 FE? I don't know. I might sell it. I might hold on to it. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll ask me that conversation in 2 weeks whenever we do the live stream again. Have I tried DeX with the S23 FE? I have not. I just took this out of the box like 40 minutes ago. I was laying there in bed. I had just finished publishing my video, which, sorry the video was late today. Normally I like to publish around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was exhausted. My kids have been keeping me up, and then I stay up all night. I make my videos at night, and then I usually go to bed around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And my kids and then the dogs were waking me up, and I got like an hour and a half of sleep yesterday. I just could not. They just kept waking me up. We have a Doberman, and she's about a year and a half old now, and she, if the wind blows the wrong way, will dart off of the bed like a rocket and run straight to the door and start barking at nothing. And she did that just every 10 or 15 minutes yesterday when I was trying to sleep. So I finally gave up, had to run some errands and all that good stuff. So yeah, I did not get any sleep yesterday. So I went to bed last night, I think around 5. And then my wife got up at 4:30 to go to work. I was still up. And then I tried to go to sleep. Then my kids woke me up, then the dogs. So I just shut everything off. I went to sleep this morning for good from like 7:30 to like 2:30. So I'm nice and bushy-tailed and wide-eyed and refreshed now. But yeah, I was too tired to get a video out at 10 o'clock this morning. So I pushed it this afternoon, and most people seem to be interested in enjoying it. But yeah, there's been a lot of people pissing me off on that video. And I'll get to that in a minute. Let me see. I saw some questions up here. Johnny Quest, Adam, as a lawyer and a tech guy, is there an argument to be made that since it takes a number to run cellular service into my iPad mini, that should be able to use that number on a tablet? So you would think, but the thing is like, I don't think there's any sort of correlation between my legal career and the tech stuff. But it's always been weird to me. Here's the thing. When you use a tablet, I think it typically only uses a data connection, even though it has an underlying number. That underlying number doesn't have phone service associated with it. And the distinction was more difficult before or actually it was easier before, because with the analog signal, we had like underlying phone numbers for 2G and 3G, and then it would just use the 4G LTE for the data connection. So they have a number assigned to it. Like if you go to your account and log in, it'll be like whatever your area code is in the number, but you can't call it and then actually go to your tablet. So I don't know why they really do that. I think they just do it because they sell it at a reduced rate, typically for the data plan, because you can't use it like a phone. But it was always interesting to me before, like you couldn't just pop your regular SIM card out of your phone and put it in like your iPad and get full service. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answers to everything. Katina, Adam, if you didn't get the purple S23 FE, that would be weird. I wish I had the purple S23 FE, but it was 19 miles away, and I didn't have time today, and I just couldn't bring myself to drive to like the Galleria to go get the thing. And if you've driven 19 miles across Houston, it's not a really enjoyable thing to do. It would probably take me an hour. So I didn't work with that. TechRite, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work. Have a good night. I don't know if you're a Rangers fan, but congrats to your state on the World Series. So I'm not a Rangers fan. I hate the Rangers, but I will wish them well. They did win. They beat us fair and square. They're from Texas. So a lot of people are like, oh, so since the Rangers are from Texas and they're in the World Series, are you going to root for them? And I'm like, heck no. I wanted the Diamondbacks to win, but congratulations to the Texas Rangers for winning. I'm not that petty. Jay, Adam, what is your favorite tablet? Probably my Tab S9. I have the Tab S9. I have my iPad Pro M1. It's like the 12.9 inch. I like the smaller tablets. I don't like the big gigantic ones. To me, a tablet is like a tablet. I get that some people want to use them for like productivity, drawing, like have the big screen and all that stuff. I just like a smaller one. And that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to foldables, because I really enjoy having the like tablet size that I enjoy, but also a phone in my pocket. So my ideal tablet would be an iPad mini Pro. That's what I would like to have. What is my favorite phone of all time? From Ryan Daly. My favorite phone of all time, probably the BlackBerry Classic. Now, my favorite special phone of all time is my BlackBerry Porsche P9983. That is a beautiful phone. I do not have it out here. I've made videos about it before. The P9983 Carbon, which is what I have, is a beautiful phone. And I wanted it so bad when it first came out. It was a $2,000 phone. Everybody nowadays is like, oh, the foldable phones are so expensive, $17.99, $14.99. Yeah, they're all crazy. Yeah, imagine paying $2,100 for a BlackBerry Porsche model like 10 years ago. So, amazing phone. Definitely not worth $2,000 back then. But yeah, I have like the box that it came in with like the Porsche, like it's a big box with all the Porsche stuff on it, 4 different international chargers, like an extra battery, a special Porsche card that had your special pin on it. Like it was really exciting. It was really exciting. So it's funny to me where everyone's like, oh, these foldable phones are so expensive. I'm like, they're not that expensive. They're very expensive, but I've gotten a more expensive phone before. Lynn Bloom, S23 or Pixel 8, what are your thoughts? Love your videos. So The S23 and the Pixel 8 are both great. I mean, they're very complementary phones. One's Samsung, one's Google. I think the Pixel 8 has a better point and shoot camera. If you look at the S23, of course, it has 3 cameras. I think battery life is about even on them, probably. And it just kind of depends on what you want. Of course, you get 7 years of support with the Pixel 8. You get 4 and 5 with the S23. One UI versus stock Google with Material U and all that stuff. I think they're both great phones. I said the S23, fantastic phone, 6.1 inch screen, 6.2 inch screen for the Pixel 8, very comparable. So it just really depends on what you want, what you like better. I think the camera capabilities a little bit more spec'd out, just because you can do the telephoto on the S23. So also you get DeX. So if any of that stuff matters to you, but they're both very good phones. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Ron Solo, hey, I hope you don't get in trouble while you're at work. I haven't talked about BBME yet. So I made a video yesterday talking about BlackBerry because, of course, John Chen is retiring this week after his 10 years there. And yeah, so I actually have a BBM group. It's called BBME, like the E stands for Enterprise. And tell you what, I will go ahead while I'm talking here and I will post it in the chat. So if any of y'all want to join the BlackBerry Messenger group that I have, we have 140 people in there now. 140 people strong, and just kind of talk about whatever. Of course, primarily a lot of folks in there really care about BlackBerry still, so that's always a big discussion. And then just a lot of great people in there. So I'm going to, sorry, I'm trying to multitask right now. If you want to join, there you go. There's the BlackBerry Messenger group. Of course, you can join that. Would I recommend the Pixel 8 or the S23 to the average Joe? Absolutely. I think they're good phones at good prices. They've got some good trade-in stuff with carriers still. They've got some good financing options. Anything in the flagship caliber, like when you take a look at the Tensor G3, when you take a look at the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, when you take a look at what you can do with those phones, how long they're going to be good for, just the seamless usage, the beautiful screens. I love flagship phones. I could use an S23 as a daily driver. I could use the Pixel 8 as a daily driver. Like, I prefer the Pros, but either one of those I could use seamlessly as a daily driver. And I think that's a great testament to these phones. So absolutely, I would recommend those if somebody wants to get one. Lucky Chucky, got any battery tips for the Pixel 8 Pro? I set extreme battery mode to 20%. I haven't messed with the battery on mine, of course. You could use adaptive brightness. I always say turn off the screen time, so where like it automatically shuts off, set that to like 30 seconds. Use dark mode. Go look at your battery life and see if there's any background tasks or apps that are like using up a lot of battery. You can have those where it limits their ability to use that in the background. Stuff like that. Using the brightness, like the higher the brightness you have it, the more it's going to burn up your battery. So if you run it at like 50% instead of like 75%, you're going to get like an extra hour and a half of screen on time in your day. If you find that it's turns, like you could turn 5G off and just use 4G LTE if you want, but I think 5G is pretty good at this point. Just little things like that. Or I've had pretty good battery life with mine though, so I can't really complain. Citizen Tex, 33-year Texas lawyer here. Thank you for your legal service. Is the Pixel voice recognition typing good enough for professional communications on the go? Can you compare with the Apple voice recognition? So I think that Google's is better. Now, I have used more of it with the iPhone lately whenever it comes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max because I've had my SIM card in both of them. I think they're both good, but I do think that Google's is, of course, better. And you're also, one other thing here, as an attorney in Texas, you probably run into people that speak Spanish. I don't know if you're bilingual or not, but if you're not bilingual and you need to be able to communicate with somebody, of course, you can use your Pixel 8 or 8 Pro, pull up the translate feature. You can have a conversation, or you can at least have them speak into it, and it'll change it to English for you, or you can say something and have it convert to Spanish for them. There are just other things like beyond that. Of course, you get nice things also as an attorney. You probably get a lot of people that call you. You can do the call screening. You can hit the button and have it screen the call so they can say what the purpose is. Another thing that you might like is the website summarization. I haven't tried it out with legal briefs. I haven't tried it out with case summaries yet. But if you go to a website, you can pull up, just press the button for the Google Assistant and have it summarize the website. So that might be also another option that could summarize some stuff if you want to get the quick gee whiz on something. But I think there's more implications other than just voice to text. But the other nice thing is it completely does voice to text and the translation feature on the phone. So regardless of how good or bad your signal is or where you're at, it's going to do it on the phone for you reliably. So those are just some thoughts on that for me. Steffers join us. Great stuff. Yes, Stephanie, she does a great job of sharing my videos and links in there all the time. Stephanie's great. Let me see. Charlie C. I still have the Pixel 2 XL on a backup number. One of the favorite designs. So I love the Pixel 2. Do you have the Panda? Do you have the Panda 2 XL? I really wanted one. I couldn't get my hands on one. I had the Pixel 2 and I tried to get the XL, but they were always out of stock. I only wanted the Panda edition. And also there was an issue with that phone because the panel was made by LG, and some of them would do like this weird blue tinting thing. But anyway, yeah, the 2XL was great. I loved the Pixel 2 series. I thought it was good phones. Jerome, does Samsung have a free VPN like Google? It does not. So the built-in Google VPN is actually a pretty neat thing when you get the Pixel phones. Let me see. Do I think they'll ever have a free one? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I doubt they'll have a free one. They may come out with one at some point, but I like the Google VPN. I like how it works. I like how it's integrated. I like how it's free. I mean, those free 99 is always the best price, right? But yeah, I don't think Samsung's probably ever going to have a free one. Maybe they come up with one at some point. I don't know. Nexus S, what was your first smartphone? My very first ever smartphone, I don't know if we're considering a BlackBerry a smartphone, but if you want to say like first generation Android or first generation iPhone, my very first smartphone was the LG Titan. I think it was the LG Titan anyway. LG Titan 2011 is when I got it, I think. I think it was called the Titan in another country. But it was interesting because it was an Android phone that also still had a keyboard on it. Or maybe it was the HTC Titan. HTC. Either way, it was a really sucky phone. I ended up taking it back because it was so crappy, and I got the HTC MyTouch 3G, and I actually really enjoyed that phone. I had the MyTouch 3G, and then before that, I did have the iPhone 3G. I had the iPhone 3G for like 10 or 11 months. I was deployed in 2010 to 2011. I was gone for 8 months. I was in Kyrgyzstan. And before I left, I got an iPhone 3G because there was an app you could use called Text Now. And it would simulate a real phone number. And they had Wi-Fi where I was deployed. So I was able to send text messages back home to like my mom and my girlfriend and my family members and stuff like that. So even though I didn't have cell service while I was over there, I did have Wi-Fi and I could send text messages back that way. So I had the iPhone 3G, and then when I came back, I really hated the iPhone, so I got an Android as soon as they first came out, and then that was very short-lived. But yeah, that was probably my first smartphone. My first BlackBerry though was the 7100G, which I got in 2005, and I absolutely loved that phone. Let me see. Andy 1. Welcome, Andy. Glad you're here again tonight. I wanted to tell interesting facts, which has very surprised me after I bought the iPhone 15 Pro Max in China. I find out the iPhone has 2 SIM cards. Yeah, so the iPhone is weird. Here in the United States, it's eSIM only, but if you get it outside the United States, you can actually put a SIM card in it, which really irks me that it's only eSIM here in the US because I really would like to just swap my SIM card out. But yeah, kind of annoying. Apple has a VPN, right? I don't really know much about Apple as far as I don't think they have an actual VPN. I would have to do some research on that. I don't know. That's a great question. If you follow Zolotech, he's a buddy of mine and he specializes on like Apple software stuff. Maybe you could watch one of his videos and ask him. I don't know. I'll have to Google that later. Let me see. Ralph TOL. If Nexus series came back, what OEM you will like to do it? I don't think the Nexus series is coming back, and like HTC is gone and LG is gone, so I don't know who, and Motorola is not really what they used to be, so I don't know who's going to build it, but I don't foresee the Nexus coming back. We are fairly well into the Pixel territory now, and I think the Pixels are good phones. Lucky Chucky, did you mess with the camera settings on the Pixel? Set camera to 50 megapixels, set night sight to auto. I have messed around with that some. And I got to tell you, I really like the cameras on the Pixel 8 Pro. And it really irks me that you don't have access to the full 50 megapixels on the Pixel 8. I don't really feel like that's a pro level feature. Like every other Android smartphone, like you can just press the button and change it and use the full resolution image that you take. So it really irks me that Google did that. I think that's a stupid, cheap move. HTC Desire. Yeah, that was an interesting phone. I did not desire it. Thank you, Katina. I appreciate it. Daniel, the Big D. I'm hyped about the major camera app advancements on the One UI 6. I am excited. I want to see if they finally kind of take things up a notch with the camera app and also like maybe some faster shutter speed stuff. I've said this before when it comes to Samsung. So Samsung is usually, they like to change out their cameras, right? At least they do periodically. And I thought the 108 megapixel camera was pretty fairly well dialed in. This 200 megapixel one, by the time we get 6 to 12 months away from when these phones come out, the cameras are better than whenever they are at launch date. Whenever you get a new camera, it's like they push it out, but it's not 100% optimized yet. Maybe it's like 70% optimized. And it always feels like once they come out with a new camera, 6 months later or even a year later, it's a better product than whenever it first came out. Tech Nerd, hi, how are you doing? I am doing all right. I'm here hanging out with a bunch of people who are fantastic and have joined me here for the live stream tonight. And I have a Dr. Pepper, so life is pretty good at the moment. Let me see. Jerome, HTC had great weather animation. It sure did. It really did. I had some HTC phones. I never had the M8 or the M9, but I had the HTC One X, I think it was the One X, and it was a pretty good phone. Apple has secure relay, basically the same as Google, but you have to have iCloud Plus. Yeah, they might have something built in, but I'm sure that they charge you for it. Did I ever hear about the Solana Saga phone that came out this summer? I have never heard of that phone. I would have to do some research. I have never heard of the Solana phone. Let me see. Scroll back up. Stephanie telling people about how great the BEBME group is. Yes. Like I said, we have 140 people in there, 140 strong. And I know I'm not always in there to talking all the time, but I try to get in there as much as possible. But yeah, it's just a nice place. I know some people, they like to ask me questions there. There's a lot of great folks who have conversations like all day and all night. Like I'll wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and somebody's talking about something. But I don't like Discord. I hate the app Discord, and I want to stay as far from it as possible. I think it's a terrible phone on the app on the phone, and it really just doesn't feel like you're having conversations with people. So I thought, you know what? I'll make a BBM group because I've been using BBM for forever. And especially people who love BlackBerry enjoy the BBM app. So I'm like, you know what? I'll set this up. And then that way, like, it's kind of like a TechOdyssey community thing. Great folks there. I mean, all you folks in here are great tonight. I think I have the best subscribers and the best community on all of YouTube. So having a place where people can chat and hang out together, I thought would be a good thing. Let me see. Jay, what do you like better, Xiaomi or Huawei? So I like Huawei. I think they make better products, but of course they're blacklisted here in the US, and they've had a lot of problems for the last few years. Xiaomi makes some good stuff though. I'm just not a big fan of MIUI, and I think they made some changes to it. I haven't used a Xiaomi phone in like the last year, but I heard they made some updates and changes to it, so I'm curious to see how much better it is. Any chance we will get a new BlackBerry phone after John Chen exits? So I don't think John Chen is the reason that we didn't get a new phone. I talked about this in my video yesterday. Ultimately, it's a board of directors kind of decision. Like if you have to try and do your best to make money as a company, right? So if they decided that making phones is not in the best interest of the company anymore, the CEO can't just be like, keep making phones. They'll remove him. Like they'll vote him out. So I don't think so much that it was a John Chen saying we're not making phones anymore. I think it was kind of a unified thing where they realized that, okay, we're not profitable. We're losing billions. We have to pivot to something else to make sure that the company can stay alive. Now, I've always said that as long as there is still a BlackBerry logo on a building in Waterloo, that there's always hope at some point in time a phone might come back. I think that the way things are going now, that there is more more availability than ever for like these little project unicorn niche phones. And we've seen it with Unihertz. We've seen it with some other brands, even like the Think phone with Lenovo and Motorola. I would be perfectly happy. I don't think a lot of people would be happy, but I genuinely enjoyed the BlackBerry Z30. I really enjoyed the BlackBerry Motion. If at some point in time they took another phone and then they came out with their own software and security suite that's not DTEC, because I really was never all that impressed with it, and had meaningful security and had a meaningful usage for the phone, I would be okay with a non-keyboard BlackBerry, maybe to kind of like pave the way for another keyboard phone later on. That's the thing. They can't just, they could throw their logo on another phone and secure it up, but it's not going to have a keyboard. There's nobody really making keyboard phones, and they sued most of the ones that tried. So I don't know. I never rule out the possibility of there being another phone. I would really love for them to be another phone, but I don't see it probably on the cards in the next year or two for sure. Tracy Brovan, TechOdyssey, you're my favorite phone review channel. Are you excited on what's to come from the S24 Ultra? Thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoy the channel. I'm very excited about it. I like Samsung phones. I cover Samsung phones extensively. I have the S23 Ultra. I've probably made 40 videos about this phone this year. I love the foldables. I'm really excited about the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3, and I'm of course excited to see what Samsung does with their take this year. So, yep. Or sorry, next year, once it comes out, beginning of 2024. Let me see. Adam, will BlackBerry have a desktop mode? If not, why try? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of companies that don't have desktop mode. Apple doesn't have a desktop mode. Google doesn't have a desktop mode. OnePlus doesn't have a desktop mode. So if you ask that question, if BlackBerry is not going to have one, why try? Then, I mean, why are these other brands not trying? It's something that specifically Samsung kind of pioneered. And I think they've done a good job with it, but yeah, we'll have to see what's in the cards. Vincent D, what's up, brother? Hey, thanks, doing good. Thanks for being here tonight, as always. Leo, would you ever try the Nothing phone? So I was interested in the Nothing phone, and I actually reached out to Nothing, their PR department, about the Nothing phone 2, and they said they were going to send me one. They're like, we're going to send you one. We're going to send it out. Like, you're going to get it early. Before the phone comes out, so you can do a review on it. And I was like, cool, that's exciting, thank you. And then they didn't send me one. And then when I emailed them back, I was like, where's the phone? Are you going to send me one? They're like, oh, we're out now. It'll be like a month before we can send you one. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then they just never sent one. So I'm not buying one, but yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think that they're interesting phones, but I'm not going to go buy one personally to cover for the channel. Tech right, less than 1% probably use desktop mode, and that's probably fairly accurate. I don't know a lot of people that actually use it. I do think Dex is good. I think having a desktop mode is good, but honestly, yeah, I don't think a lot of people use it. Daniel the Big D, I use it when traveling. Absolutely, that is a good purpose for it. Steffers, I just totally love a keyboard. Please, yes, I absolutely love keyboards too. Jay, Dr. Pepper is great, but A&W Root Beer Classic. So I like A&W Root Beer, but it's really sweet. I can't have more than like a can of that stuff. It makes me sick. It's just so rich and sweet. Tech Nerd, what wireless earbuds do you use? A lot. I have the Google Buds Pro. I have the OnePlus Buds 2 or Pro 2 or whatever they're called. I have the Nothing Buds 2, which I actually really love. I have the new Sony Xperia XM5s, which are really good. I have the AirPods 3. I have a lot of earbuds. But honestly, the ones that get used the most are probably my Nothing Ear 2. I've been really impressed with them. They're lightweight, good battery, comfortable, good sound profile, and I've been really impressed with them. I really like the Nothing Ear 2 earbuds. So they're probably currently my favorite. Lucky Chucky, would you ever test the Xiaomi 14? I've asked, but right now they're in the Chinese launch of that, and I actually emailed them. I talked to them yesterday, and they said, we'll keep you in mind for the global release program once it's available for review. Right now, it's only a China exclusive thing. So I'll probably, if I get one, get my hands on it in a few months. But what I would recommend right now is if you're curious about it, I have a good buddy of mine, Tech Tablets. Maybe you've heard of him. His name is Chris, and check out his YouTube channel. I just put his name down there in the bottom. He just ordered one yesterday and will have it. And he is a very, very good, honest reviewer. Very, very thorough. He is like a big Xiaomi supporter. He's covered Xiaomi phones for years and years and years. So what I would say is go check out his video. In the meantime, as his content is available, and then if Xiaomi sends me one, I will have content on it later. Mr. Murray, sorry I just turned in. Is there some new BlackBerry news? Not really. Just that John Chen is announced. They announced yesterday or day before yesterday he's retiring at the end of this week. So there's just been a lot of conversation and speculation. I made a full video about it yesterday talking about my thoughts on the matter. So if you go watch that, that'll bring you up to speed with anything that was discussed here today. But as of right now, there's no new phone in the works that's been announced. TechRite, what is your favorite movie of all time? I saw Goodfellas last night and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I still say Shawshank Redemption is my number one. So Shawshank Redemption is in my top 10. And I just watched Goodfellas yesterday. So I started watching it 2 days ago. I fell asleep watching it Monday or Wednesday night, and I finished it last night. Goodfellas is great. I love any of those like gangster movies. I love The Godfather. I love Goodfellas. I love The Irishman. I love Donnie Brasco. I mean, there's just a lot of them. I love Ray Liotta. He's a good actor. Favorite movie of all time, probably Chinatown. I love noir films. I love Jack Nicholson. Probably number one for me is probably Chinatown. I also love The Postman. I love anything basically with Kevin Costner, Jack Nicholson. Let me see. Meet Joe Black. That's another one my top faves. Shawshank Redemption absolutely is like top 5, top 10 movie. I have a lot of movies that I like, but I would have definitively, if I had to pick just one movie, I would probably say Chinatown. And if you haven't seen it, absolutely go watch it. Let me see. UMBMA. I use Nothing Ear 1 over the 2, be honest. The ear tips are okay, but 1, I don't know why. I didn't use the Nothing Ear 1. I just had the 2. So I really enjoy it. Jay, I think that was Root of Nothing phone. Forget them. Yeah. So I think I made them mad, honestly. Well, maybe. So I don't know why they didn't send it to me early like they said they were going to. Like they said that they were going to send it to me, and then I didn't talk to them about it until like a few days beforehand when I saw people started getting them. And then I emailed them like, hey, are y'all still going to send this to me? I thought that it was coming out. And then they're like, yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened, but we don't have enough inventory. It'll be a few weeks. So then when the phone came out, I looked at the specs, I looked at the price, and then I made a video saying buy the OnePlus 11, not the Nothing Phone 2, because I thought the OnePlus 11 was a much better phone. And I think they saw that video, and then they got mad that I said don't buy the OnePlus 2, buy the OnePlus 11. And that's probably why they then never sent me one. But, I mean, sorry, that's how I roll. I thought the OnePlus 11 was a better phone and tried to save people a lot of money. Katina Sutherland, The Postman is one of the best shows of all time. Yeah, I love The Postman. It is a fantastic movie. And for the longest time, I claimed that The Postman was my favorite movie. I also love The Shining, like the Shining movie. Hunt for Red October, The Rock, Crimson Tide. I like The Patriot. I like... there's a lot of movies. I love movies. I could have a channel just talking about movies. I take my family seriously probably 4 times a month to the movie theater. Like we just go watch all the new movies that come out. I really like the new movies with Kenneth Branagh, where the Orient Express. So I love Murder on the Orient Express. Then there's a Murder on the Nile, and then there was it Death on the Nile, and then Murder in Venice. I just watched that one. I really love those. Like anything. I love the character Hercule Poirot. But anyway, yeah, those are good movies. They're good family movies too. Like it's not like smutty or terrible or foul language, and they make you think, trying to figure out who the killer is. So I like those movies. Cinderella Man, that is a good movie. Cinderella Man with Renee Zellweger and drawing a blank, the guy from Gladiator, Russell Crowe. Fantastic movie. Of course, Gladiator is an amazing movie too. Let me see. Jeffrey, Adam, you surprise me. Of all people should know that you don't just go off specs alone. No, I don't just go off specs alone. But whenever I take a look at the actual hardware, the performance, the camera, like there's a lot. The longer warranty, the availability, I thought the OnePlus 11 was a significantly better looking phone in many ways over the Nothing Phone 2. I'm not trying to discredit the Nothing Phone 2. I thought the Nothing Phone 2 was fine. If you want that, go for it. But whenever they launched it and it came out, I was looking at them side by side. I'm like, there's just so many different things here that all day long I would buy the OnePlus 11 over the Nothing Phone 2. Tech Right. Regal has been having me go lately to, yeah, so I pay the monthly subscription for AMC and for Cinemark. So we go to both of them interchangeably. Let me see. Jay. Hey, Adam. I love Painfully Honest Tech. Good guy. But what do you think of him doing Can You Trust videos about YouTubers that we love? So Jason's a good friend of mine. As you probably noticed lately, I have been doing podcasts with him for his live stream show stuff. And we've had a good relationship for years. I used to watch his Can You Trust videos from time to time. Me personally, I don't like that style of video because I think it's one of those things that can be kind of controversial and have like drama infused things in it that make people want to click on it. I don't like the idea of making a video going around talking about, look, can you trust this guy? Can you trust that guy? I mean, I know he did it from a very constructive angle, like, are they trustworthy? What's their history? Do they appear truthful? Can you take their advice and things like that? And that was something, an endeavor that he did. And if he wanted to continue doing that, I would support him in doing that because he's my friend and people like those videos. But I don't know. It's just, I know people like them. So if that's what they want, then, I mean, just leave comments on his video, tell him, bring it back. And he just made one recently about Linus, which I thought was very fair because there was the drama around Linus and Linus Tech Tips and whether they were being upfront and accurate and whether they were giving good information. So I think that I think that most people can be trusted up front until they've proven that they can't be trusted, but you can also look at that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I think there's a place for it, and I think if there's a place for it, he's the guy to do it, but totally, yeah, Jason's a good guy. Tech Right, that's so weird. Yeah, I just watched it like 2 days ago. Great show. I love Casino. Casino is one of my top 10 favorite movies. I love Casino. That's a good one. Yeah, go watch Chinatown for sure. Yeah, you have to come back to the live stream next week and then tell me how you like Chinatown. Actually, all of you should go watch Chinatown. Jason Bourne movies, those are good. I saw all those in the theater. Battery is okay on the Pixel 8 Pro coming from iPhone. I had to manually restrict some apps. But here's the thing, 303 Top Gun. You can actually restrict apps. And that's one of the freedoms that I love about Android. If you have bad battery life on your iPhone, there's like not a whole lot you can do. With an Android phone, there's so much stuff you can do to the extent that you can go in and shut off background tasks. So I think of that as a compliment, as so much as not so much as a problem, because you have the tools to take some of these things into control in your own hands and make your experience better. Tech Right, yeah, Joe Pesci. I love Joe Pesci. It was funny when I grew up. I did not know. I'd never seen The Godfather. I mean, of course, Joe Pesci wasn't in that, but I'd never seen any of his other movies. So when I saw Home Alone, I always associated Joe Pesci as like comedy, like, you know, the water bandits is what they call them or something like that. They flood people's basements in winter. I didn't know Joe Pesci was like this. Like, I saw Joe Pesci in Home Alone, and the next time I saw him, it was in like Casino. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a completely different experience. Color Purple. I've heard of that movie. I've not seen it, but I've heard The Color Purple is a good movie. Oh, pretty much anything with Denzel. I love Denzel Washington. And I recently watched the movie Fences with him, probably like 6 months ago. That was a tearjerker. Like that movie is a tearjerker, but very, very intense. I love Denzel. Silent Runner Speaks. Love the live stream tonight. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. So I want to get something out of the way real quick. I said that I was going to do a giveaway tonight. So I want to follow through with that. And I have here in my hand this Bold N3. So the fine folks over at Blue Products, they make their blue phones, and then they make the Bold phone, the N1, the N2, the N3. This is their most latest, we'll call it their flagship model. But I thought they did a good job with it. I reviewed it. I made a video about it. Fantastic phone. So I'm just going to do two things here real quick. And one, I'm going to say you have to be in the U.S. Like, I can't send this to Canada or to the UK. It's just very, I tried one time before and it ended up getting stuck in customs for like 4 months and then it got sent back to me. So what I will do is I say, we'll go in the honor system here. If you're interested in winning this, then what I will do is y'all go ahead and just leave a comment with like the number 1. Like just leave a comment number 1. Like just type a number 1 in the chat. And then what I will do is tomorrow I will go back through and I will identify somebody who is the winner, and then I will have y'all contact me so that I can send it to you. I don't want to be exchanging a bunch of information and stuff on here now, but if you're, I'll be able to go back and look at the comments on this. Actually, you know what? I won't. We'll just go ahead and pick a winner tonight. So whether 3 people want it, 5 people, whatever, if you have any interest in this bold N3 phone, then just leave a number 1 in the chat, and I will come back and pick somebody to be the winner. And I have the box. Here it is. So I have the box, and inside the box it has all the stuff. So it comes with a case. It comes with this cool Bold Like Us sticker if you want to put that on your dog or your small child. It comes with a SIM ejector tool. It comes with the power brick. It comes with a set of earbuds. And yeah, I'll put the sticker back in there. Anyway, I thought they did a really good job with this phone. I really enjoyed it. 6.7-inch Full HD screen, 120 hertz, curved edge display, MediaTek 7050, 5G, 256 storage, 8 gigs of RAM, 50 megapixel camera. Like, they did a good job with it. All right. Wow. Apparently a lot of people on the phone. Let me see. Number one. There's a lot of number 1s. 1. Somebody typed 2. Sorry, Rob Russell, you're disqualified. You can't put a number 2. You have to do a number 1. All right. I'll give it like another couple of minutes, and then I'll pick somebody. But yeah, if you are interested in winning this phone, then leave a number 1. And then the other thing I will say is once I pick a winner, just contact me on either Instagram or on Twitter, and I will verify that it is you, and then I'll get your address, and then I will ship it out to you. Lewis J, your channel is number 1. Thank you. I appreciate that. And a creative way to put number 1 as well. And also thank you, Stephanie, for subscribing to the super awesome tier. Yeah, I don't really ever say anything about the channel membership stuff. I don't really even provide a lot of value for the channel membership stuff, which is why I don't talk about it. It's more one of those things where it's like, if you just love the channel so much and you want to like support with the subscription for $2 or $4 or whatever it is a month, then that's amazing. I make videos every day. I have the YouTube community channel stuff, and there are special little icons that you can use. I think there's emojis that you get to use if you sign up for it. But I think there's probably like 15 or 20 subscribers who are amazing people, because it just helps support me. And I mean, it's like $40 a month, but every last penny counts, and I really appreciate that. I don't ever put it out there. I just have it set up because it's like a YouTube thing, and you can set up, and I don't do Patreon, and I don't do any of that other stuff, but it does mean a lot. I don't know how to pronounce this, but UMBMMA. Adam, is the Think phone worth it at $499? Absolutely. I think the Think phone is a really good phone. I have really enjoyed it. $499, I think, is a fair price. Katina Sutherland, whoever wins, I hope they need it. Being honest, I don't, so good luck. Yeah, and whoever wins it, I don't ask whether you need it, whether you want it, or whatever. I mean, I do try and help people from time to time, but it's just a way to give back. I got this phone for free, but I'm sure that it will help somebody else. I'm going to try and do more giveaway stuff. I need to try and find a better, more structured way of doing this. So that way it's not just like, oh, me just selecting something on here. But yeah, I have some other stuff that I do want to try and give away. I think maybe in the next couple of weeks, I have like a Pixel Watch Generation 1. I'm going to give that away. Maybe like a Pixel 6 I still have. I mean, I'm going to try and do some of this stuff and try to give some things back to the community and you awesome folks. Of course, I can't give stuff back to everybody, but that's the goal. Let me see. Caleb Cooper, you said he did a review of that phone. Is it an expensive one? So it's like $299 MSRP. When it first came out, you could get it that day while supplies lasted for like $199. So I think for the price, it's a very good phone. All right, let me scroll through here and select a winner. This is difficult. And here's the other thing. Just make sure that you, because you're going to have to give me your address once we get all this sorted out. You have to be in the United States. So if you're like in Germany and then you contact me, I'll be like, sorry, I have to send this to someone in the U.S. Let me see. I am going to pick... Sorry, I'm looking at... There's so many... David Pitts. Senor David Pitts. You are the winner. I will type this down here in the bottom. David... There we go. David Pitts is the winner of the Bold N3. So everybody congratulate David Pitts for winning. And you can reach out to me on Twitter or on the Instagrams. And then we can, yeah, the pressure, it's hard to pick somebody to win. So yeah, reach out to me on Instagram or on Twitter. I'll verify that it is you. And then I will get this sent out to you in the next couple of days. So that is it for the giveaway portion. Yes, big congratulations to David. So thanks for watching tonight, and I hope that hopefully that you enjoy this phone, whether it's for you, whether it's a family member, whoever it's for. I hope you enjoy it. Reese's Cups for the win. That's a great name, by the way. That's very good name. I love Reese's. So just ordered a Pixel Watch 1. Did battery life improve for you with the update? So I didn't go back after like the first 2 months and mess with it anymore, but I did have other people tell me that the battery life did improve after substantial updates. So my Pixel Watch 2 right now is lasting me about a day and a half, which I think is fine. It gets me all the way through the day, all the way through the night, does the sleep tracking and all that stuff. Somebody has told me that the Pixel Watch 1 will also last that long, at least last through the full day. The original, when I first got it, it would last me maybe 20 hours maximum. So the fact that I can get all the way through the entire 24 hours and still have like 35% battery left, I've been pretty happy with. Oh, have a good night, Stephanie. Actually, I'm fixing to get ready to wrap up here. We're at an hour and 12 minutes, so I will take a couple extra questions, and then I'm gonna go like lay down and watch a movie, like I'm tired. But yeah, I've really enjoyed doing the live stream tonight. Hopefully, some of y'all also signed up for the BlackBerry Messenger group if y'all want to be part of that. Hopefully, it was more fun tonight with at least the promise of trying to win something. Again, I think next week we'll probably do a giveaway with the Pixel Watch 1. And I got that from Google. I'm not using it. I was sitting here, I'm like, what can I do with this? And I thought, you know what? We'll do a giveaway next week for that. So no strings attached. Just show up and leave a comment, and we'll go from there once we set that one up. But I've got a lot of stuff, so we might be doing giveaways for a little while. Let me see. Tech Right. Fences was awesome. Oh yeah, Fences is great, man. Yeah, I love Fences. That was a really good movie. Malcolm Rogers, really enjoyed your video this afternoon. You really stirred up the Pixel and Sam's. Oh yeah, so the video today. Oh my God, the comments that people leave, they are just not based in reality. I get so many comments from people who just will say these like just the dumbest things that make no sense. And it just irks me to no end. I'm like, I know you honestly don't believe this, or if you do honestly believe this, you really don't have any clue what you're talking about. Like, I'm all for having constructive conversation. I love having discussion. I'll even ask people why sometimes when they say things, but yeah, just some of the stuff is just, oh my gosh. Jeffrey, thank you, Adam. Really appreciate your time. Looking forward to next week. Hey, have a good night. I appreciate you being here, Jeff, and I'll see you next time. How about Super Mario, brother? Hey, Super Mario movie I actually really liked a lot. Let me see. Plasma Axis. Adam, my friend had a bad experience at Cinemark where employees didn't let him get a refill, and after the movie, when he wanted to refill, put guardrails and told him this way, please. That's kind of sucky. But I don't think they do refills anymore. I think they kind of lowered the prices on a lot of things, and they advertise that they don't give refills anymore. So I don't know if that's changed or whatever, but I don't think that they do. Katina, good night. Adam, appreciate you. Hey, thank you so much, Katina, for being here tonight. I appreciate it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. Thanks a lot, everybody, for being here tonight. Again, David, make sure you contact me. Instagram is fine. Twitter is fine. And I'll check that later on this evening and get back with you probably by tomorrow. But, yep, thanks a lot for everybody being here tonight. And save up your questions for next week if you've got any. And that's one of the reasons I like doing this. I know I always have kind of some topics loosely that we'll talk about, but 90% of all this is just I'm here to answer questions, hang out with you guys. It's great when y'all chime in and have good questions and stuff. So it's great to be able to hear it hang out. Tech Right, thank you so much for the super chat. Totally did not have to do that whatsoever, but I certainly appreciate it. And thank you. Thanks for showing up, and thanks for y'all being a great part of the TechOdyssey community. You guys are fantastic. 69 Eliminator, you rock like a concert. Thank you. Yes. So thanks a lot, everyone. Y'all are all awesome. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Tomorrow I know is Friday, so y'all have a great and wonderful weekend. I'm sure I'll have a video out tomorrow. It might not be 10 o'clock in the morning. It might be in the afternoon again tomorrow, but rest assured there will be a video because I want to talk about the S23 FE in more detail. So I got it set up. I started putting my apps and everything on here, and I'm sure that I'll have some constructive thoughts to formulate into a video. Also wrap up my Pixel 8 Pro full review, have that out in the next couple of days. I've got another couple of videos coming out with some of those XR glasses. I got a video for that coming out, a new e-bike, lots of things, lots and lots and lots of things coming out here in the new future. So y'all have a great night. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. Be sure to hit the like button and all that stuff on the way out the door. And I'll see you guys soon.